Namaha Bhavtam Sarvesham Hardam Swagatam. Welcome back to the channel Sanskrit Sopanam. I hope you are doing great. I'm also good. And moving ahead in our Learning Sanskrit through Gita series, today we'll be covering the 57th shloka from the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. The theme is the ongoing theme where Krishna is describing the characteristic features of a Sthita Prajna person. Okay, so continuing in that same dialogue, again there is a brand new set of information, brand new set of virtues and qualities that Krishna wants us to understand and wants us to imbibe in our day-to-day life. So what all we can learn from this shloka and what all we can understand from Sanskrit language point of view, all this we will cover in this video. So without wasting any more time, let's quickly dive in today's video. Okay, so this is the 57th shloka. Let me go through the shloka once. Yas sarvatranabhisnehaha tat tat prapya shubhashubham nabhinandati nadveshti Tasya prajna pratisthita. Okay, so here is our original shloka, the Mula shloka, and this one is the Sandhi Vichcheda version of the same shloka. What all Sandhis we can spot here? So in this shloka, actually we can spot a couple of Sandhis. First, let's see these two words, Sarvatra and Anabhisnehaha. Okay, and what Sandhi is happening between these two padas? So it is the Savarna Dirgha Sandhi. So Sarvatra Anabhisnehaha, they are combining as Sarvatranabhisnehaha. Okay, it is due to the Savarna Dirgha Sandhi. And then if we move on, so we take these two words, Anabhisnehaha and Tat. And what Sandhi is this? So there is a Visarga which is followed by a Ta. So this is a Sakara Sandhi, Sattva Sandhi, due to which this Visarga is getting replaced by a Sakara, a Sa. Okay, so Anabhisnehaha Tat, they are combining as Anabhisnehas Tat. That in place of a Visarga, you are getting this Sakara. So this is a Visarga Sandhi, Sattva Sandhi. Okay. And then if we move on, so the combination of these two words, in fact, all this combination of these three words, it is not any sandhi. It is just a halant consonant combining with the adjacent letter. Okay, so all these words, even though they are combined together as if a single word in a Mula shloka, the sandhi is only happening between Sarvatra and Anabhisnehaha and Tat. The sandhi is only happening in these two places. Okay, Sarvatra Anabhisnehas Tat Tat Prapya. But this is how they're combining together. Okay. And then if you move on, so in this Samastapadam, in this Samasa, you can also spot a Sandhi happening. There are two words present in this Samasa, Shubha and Ashubha. Okay. And when they combine, so there also Sandhi is possible. It is the same Savarna Dirgha Sandhi. So Shubha, Ashubha, they are combining as Shubha, Shubha. Okay. That is what you see in this Samasa, Shubha, Shubham. And that same Sandhi is happening here also. Na Abhinandati. So here again, this Savarna Dirgha Sandhi, Na abhinandati combining as na abhinandati. Okay, so again pretty easy to follow, and these are all the sandhis that are present in the shloka. Again, all the sandhi rules and all the word by word breakdown of this entire shloka is in the PDF sheet that you can download from the link in the description box. So that will help for your own self-learning. And let us move on and start the decoding of the shloka. Okay, so here in the shloka you cannot spot any kriya pada. But whenever we don't have any kriya pada, so either we assume this asti as the implicit kriya pada, or we can also pick up any kridanta as a starting point, because kridanta, they also give this flavor of a kriya. Okay, so we can start this mechanism with any kridanta also. That is what we are going to do in this shloka. So I am starting with this kridanta pratisthita. And pratisthita, this basically means something is firm or well established. Pratisthita. And this kridanta is coming from the dhatu stha dhatu. Stha dhatu basically means to stay or to reside. That is this stha dhatu. But along with this prefix prati, the meaning slightly changes. Along with this upsarga prati, the meaning becomes to be secure or to be established. That is this combination prati plus stha. And this combination, or rather this dhatu, is being modified using ta pratyaya. And we already know the function of this ta pratyaya. It creates a past participle, something that is done. That is this ta pratyaya. So with this upsarga, this dhatu and this pratyaya, the pratipadika that we get is this pratisthita. This is the pratipadika. This is the kridanta that we get, pratisthita. And this basically means something that is well established, something that is firm, secured in that sense. Okay, and since we are using this verb-based adjective for prajna, since prajna, as we will see further in the shloka, since prajna is a strilinga shabda, so this pratisthita, adjective for that prajna, that also assumes a strilinga form. So pratisthita. That is what we see in the Mula shloka, pratisthita. Okay, so I hope this entire mechanism, this is clear. We are starting with this kridanta, and again, the question is ka pratisthita. What is firm? What is well established? And we already know the answer to this question. prajna pratisthita, that the wisdom or the intellect that is firm, that is well established. That is this prajna. Okay, prajna, this is an akaranta strilinga pratipadika and the form here is in prathama vibhakti ekvachanam form. Okay, prajna pratisthita. Okay, so this is clear because again we know the context that Krishna is elaborating on who is a sthit prajna person. Okay, and that is why I'm asking this question, that kasya prajna pratishtita, that whose wisdom, whose intellect is firm and well established, or basically what kind of person's prajna is pratishtita. That is what we are trying to ask. And Krishna says, yaha sarvatra anabhisneha. So let us understand these words. Yaha, this is the sarvanama, this is the pronoun coming from yad pratipadika. Yad pratipadika means one who. Okay, and this yaha is the prathama vibhakti ekvachanam form in a pullinga, in the masculine gender. Okay, because we are talking about some person, a random person, so we are saying yaha, one who. Okay, in that sense. Sarvatra, this is an avyaya, this is an indeclinable, and sarvatra basically means everywhere. Okay, sarvatra, everywhere. And then we have this pada anabhisneha. Okay, so here first let us understand this word abhisneha. So abhisneha, this basically means affection or attachment. Okay, so that is this abhisneha, the attachment to something, the affection for something, that is this abhisneha. And if I try to negate it, that is na abhisneha iti anabhisneha. If I try to negate it, so I add this an. So now what I get is this anabhisneha. Okay, so anabhisneha, this means unattachment towards something. But again, we are not using this pada as this quality, unattachment. No, we are rather trying to indicate a person who has this quality. So the Vigraha Vakyam is anabhisneha yasmin. That yasmin, one in whom anabhisneha, this unattachment exists. So one in whom this unattachment, this feeling of unattachment exists, such a person is called anabhisneha. That we are not directly talking about this quality. We are rather saying that a person in whom this quality exists of this unattachment. Okay, so yah sarvatra anabhisneha. We are trying to say that one who is unattached or one who remains unattached sarvatra, everywhere. One who remains unattached everywhere, tasya prajna pratishtita. His wisdom is pratishtita. His wisdom is well established. Okay, that is this tasya. Tasya again coming from tad sarvanama, and tas is the shashti vibhakti ekvachanam form, his in that sense. So yah sarvatra anabhisneha tasya prajna pratishtita. That is what Krishna is trying to say here. I hope all these padas, they are clear. And as we have seen in the previous shlokas also, Krishna is again describing a certain kind of a person. Hence these statements. Okay. And now if I move on, Krishna has yet another thing to say. And now he is saying, yaha na abhinandati na dveshti. And here we spot two kriya padas. Okay. Abhinandati. So this is coming from the combination of abhi upsarga and nand dhatu. See, nand dhatu basically means to rejoice. Okay, to be happy. But along with this upsarga abhi, so this combination abhi plus nand, this basically means to desire, to wish, or to praise something in all these senses. Okay, that is this combination abhi plus nanda. And then this kriya pada dveshti, this is coming from the dhatu dvish dhatu. Dvish dhatu means to hate or to hold grudge against something, to dislike something in that sense. Within the context, to hate, that will fit better. And both these dhatus, they are in the same form. That they are in lat lakara, that is present tense, prathama purusha, that some third person is doing the action, and ekvachanam, a single person. Okay, so in these properties, abhi plus nand, this becomes abhinandati, balakaha abhinandati, balika abhinandati, in our case, yah abhinandati, that one who desires, one who praises in that sense, and dvish, this becomes dveshti, that one who hates. Okay, and in our shloka you can see there is a na preceding both the kriya pada. So the meaning is basically negated. So yaha na abhinandati, one who does not desire, yaha na dveshti, one who does not hate. Okay, that is what Krishna is trying to say, that one who neither desires nor hates. Tasya prajna pratishtita, such a person's, his prajna is pratishtita. Okay, but this raises a question, that one who neither desires what or nor hates what. So that is the question I am putting, that kim na abhinandati, kim na dveshti. And so we get this statement, yaha tat shubha shubham prapya na abhinandati na dveshti. Okay, so let us understand this statement, prapya. Prapya basically means having obtained. Okay, so this is also kridanta. This is apadhatu, that means to obtain. Along with this upsarga pra also, the meaning is retained, to obtain, to attain. And we are modifying this dhatu using this lyap pratyay in the sense of having obtained. So prapya, having obtained. Having obtained what? Having obtained Shubha Shubham. And this, of course, is a samasa where we can spot these two words, Shubha and Ashubha. Shubha basically means something that is good, something that is auspicious. And Ashubha basically means something that is bad. Okay, so with this samasa, we are basically grouping these two things together. Shubham cha, Ashubham cha, etayoho samaharaha iti Shubha Shubham. Okay, we are taking two things and we are grouping them. Samahara is basically group. So we are grouping them together. Shubham cha, Ashubham cha, etayoho samaharaha iti Shubha Shubham. That is the samast padam you get. Basically meaning good and bad. Okay, so Shubha Shubham prapya, having obtained good and bad. And then you see this tat tat. Tat tat is basically used in the sense of whatever. Okay, that good, that bad, in the sense of whatever good and bad is obtained. Okay, so this use is more in the sense of expression when we say something, when we speak something in the common way of speaking. So it is just for that expression, tat tat, whatever in that sense. So now completing the meaning with the previous sentence, yaha na abhinandati na dveshti, one who neither desires nor hates whatever good and bad has been obtained. Okay, that one who neither desires whatever good has been obtained and one who neither hates whatever bad has been obtained. Tasya prajna pratisthita, his prajna, his wisdom is secured, is well established. Okay, that is the meaning of these words. So I hope all these padas are clear. Let us see the anvaya along with the anuvada. So the question we can have for the shloka is, whose prajna is pratishtita, whose wisdom is well established? And Krishna is telling us, Yaha sarvatra anabhisneha bhavati. That one who remains unattached, sarvatra, everywhere. And with this everywhere, we know he is talking about at all places and in all the situations. And prapya, and having obtained tat tat shubha shubham. That having obtained whatever good and bad, na abhinandati, neither desires, na dveshti, nor hates it. So one who remains unattached at all places and situations and having obtained whatever good and bad, neither desires it nor hates it. So for such a person, tasya, his prajna pratishtita, his intellect is firm, his wisdom is well established. That is the entire translation of the shloka. Okay, so that was it. And again in the shloka, you can see a reflection of so many previous shlokas. See, there is a clear reflection of the definition of yoga that Krishna gave us earlier. That samatvam yoga uchyate. That what is yoga? Yoga is this samatvam, this equanimity of mind, this equipoise nature. That is this samatvam, that is this yoga. So that definition we can clearly see here. When he says, yaha sarvatra anabhisneha, that one who remains unattached everywhere. And when he says, na abhinandati na dveshti, so that is that samatvam, that equanimity of mind. And then again we can see the reflection of what he said in the previous shloka. In the previous shloka, while he was giving this definition of a sthit prajna person, of a muni, of a sage, he said this thing, that dukkheshu anudigna manaha, sukheshu vigatas prahaha, that one who remains undisturbed in the times of adversity. And that is what he is basically repeating here, that ashubham na dveshti, that one who does not hate whatever inauspicious, whatever bad has been obtained. So that is that clear reflection. And then when he says, Sukheshu vigatas prahaha, that one who remains desireless in the times of prosperity. And again, that is what he's saying in the shloka when he says, Shubham na abhinandati, that one who does not wishes, one who does not praises whatever good, whatever auspicious has been obtained. Okay, so that is the same reflection, that same thing that he mentioned in the previous shloka. And see, again, a lot of us, we can misunderstand this thing as Krishna is suggesting that become emotionless. That he is saying that when something is bad is happening, don't complain. That is still understandable. When something bad is happening, don't complain. But this statement, that Shubham na abhinandati, that one who remains unattached, one who remains desireless when something auspicious has been obtained. So a lot of people criticize this point and think that Krishna is propagating this emotionless behavior, that you just maintain that poker face and does not show any emotion, does not feel anything. But that is not what Krishna is saying. Because to think that Krishna will say that don't show your emotions, because to think that Krishna is saying that don't become too happy when something good is happening, or he's saying that don't smile too much or things like that. No, Krishna will be the last thing to say. In the entire history of all the saints, sages, prophets, Krishna is the only one who came singing, dancing and rejoicing. So Krishna will be the last one to say such things. Okay, so we have to understand it in a proper context. Because Krishna here is saying that uncontrolled praising, that uncontrolled desire, that uncontrolled attachment to something auspicious or the uncontrolled aversion to something that is not of your liking, that is to be abandoned. That is to be rejected. That is what Krishna is maintaining here. Because whenever something good is happening and when we get too much attached to it, so that good thing can also make us restless. Because we become restless because we want more of it. We become anxious, fearful because we might think that it will get over. So that uncontrolled attachment and desire towards something auspicious, that has to be abandoned. And same applies to the negative side, that when something bad happens, we should not lose our calm. When something bad happens, it should not cripple us. That aversion, that hate towards something that is not of our liking, that uncontrolled aversion has to be abandoned. Okay, it is good to show emotions. It is human to show emotions, but to be carried away by the emotions, that is to be abandoned. As Chinmayananda says in one of his commentaries, that sentiments are good, but sentimentalism, that can cripple you. So that is what Krishna is telling here, that the emotions, they are part of being human. If something good happens, you smile, you rejoice. When something bad happens, you also cry. But carrying that emotion, carrying the weight of that emotion, even when the situation is long gone, that weight, that cripples us down. So that clinging to that emotion, whatever good emotion, bad emotion, happy emotion, sad emotion, that clinging to it, that carrying that emotion with us, that baggage has to be cast off. That baggage has to be abandoned. So that is what he's promoting here. That yaha shubha shubham prapya na abhinandati na dveshti. Okay, and again, since he's talking about a sthit prajna person, so such a person, such a muni, he is in such a high state that he is again tushtaha, where he is atmanyev atmana tushta. That such a person is already well established in the self, and he's already so much satisfied, so much happy. So again, these agitations does not bother him. And that is what he is telling us to aim for. Okay, so again, I hope all these padas, everything grammar wise, that was clear. You have the PDF sheet. In case I missed out anything, I'll now take leave. I'll meet you in another video with another shloka. Until then, stay awesome, stay happy, keep learning Sanskrit. Vayam punah milamaha. Dhanyavad.